Getting ready to start recording. All right, everybody, welcome to this live with Child Rules. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate everybody and all your support and love. And today's topics are going to be kind of a change in pace. Some we're going to be talking about some health, and we're going to be talking about some of the commercial stuff that I help people with that I think is worth mentioning as far as like retention, ability, capability, and what you can do with the knowledge, especially since all of my stuff is free, and a lot of the other people teach they pay you to teach you false information, and it becomes very frustrating, but it is what it is. So anyway, first thing I want to talk about to you all is my actual health routine in the morning. I didn't know what y'all's were, but this is kind of interesting. So this is kind of a switch in pace of what we normally talk about, but so this is one thing that I like doing, and I have a credit card that I end up earning points on from purchasing things that I would have purchased anyway, and I get like cash back, and I get a good amount of cash back. And what I end up doing with that cash back is I decided to start investing in random healthy topics that I learn each week. So each week or so I'd learn something about your eyes or your liver or your lungs or your skin or whatever, and I would start to try to invest in certain things and products that could help bring clarity to your skin, your eyes, your nails, your hair, your health, and all that stuff, because that's one of the things that I like to do is to be healthy. And that is one of the topics that nobody cares about. Nobody's going to like or love and support and all that stuff, along with learning and knowledge. If I'm not talking about, picking your nose and flicking boogers and dog farts and stuff like that, people aren't going to be very interested. But so anyway, I wanted to kind of tell y'all what I'm kind of doing right now and see what y'all think about this, because this is kind of a very interesting thing. So other than coffee, right? So my morning routine, I've learned that while you're sleeping, okay, your body produces all of this mucus and all this toxins that starts to get rid of everything into your mouth, okay? And so and apparently Chinese medicine, they all know this stuff, but we don't here in America because we're highly miseducated, on purpose. So, it's also not profitable to have healthy people. Well, so your body produces and starts to try to get rid of all of this stuff while you're sleeping, okay? And so the first thing that a lot of us try to do in the morning is we go for a glass of water, and when we do that, we're actually swallowing all of those toxins back down into our body that our body spent all the night trying to get rid of, right? So that's why in the morning your mouth is so nasty, your breath is so trifling, is because your body has gotten rid of all of that stuff. So when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you should do, and this is what I do, so that's why I'm going to kind of walk y'all through what my morning routine is, so that y'all could kind of get an idea of what I've been studying and learning for health. Because if you don't have health, that's the real wealth, right? I know a lot of people are out there in survival mode, and they're not able to try to even save any money, especially with how expensive everything is, with all the gas prices and whatnot. But anyway, so first thing in the morning, and this is working for me, I like it, is instead of first thing drinking water, because my mouth does get dry in the middle of the night. So when I wake up, first thing I do is I start my coffee, but I also start warming up some water, and I'll sprinkle some salt in it. And I like using Celtic sea salt because it has 80 to 85 of the minerals that our body needs, out of 93 or something like that. And I'll touch back on base on that in a minute about the minerals that our body needs, not the vitamins, because our bodies need minerals. So anyway, and that's one of the problems with the food that we eat out there in the grocery store. It's terrible. But anyway, so first thing I'll do is I'll start to run hot water, to get it going, and I'll sprinkle Celtic sea salt. I don't know if you say Celtic or Celtic, but I sprinkle that in there. It's got a lot of the minerals in it. And I will gargle that and then spit the water out, okay? So instead of swallowing water first thing and swallowing all of the unhealthy toxins that your body has gotten rid of out throughout the entire night, I gargle that, rinse it around, and spit it out. And I do that several times. And I've learned this from a couple different videos, especially with your gut bacteria trying to get the candida balanced, right? So there's a bunch of different things that you can take to try to get your candida in balance. We're supposed to have a very unique bacteria in our gut microbiome, okay? And a lot of it is thrown off because of the things that we eat and the things that we do. Now, when I'm taking my different mineral supplements or whatever, so after I gargle, first thing I'll spit out all of the toxins that my body has produced into my mouth throughout the middle of the night. Okay, so I'm spitting that out. Now my body is kind of like ready. Now I can start drinking stuff. And one of the things that I do now is I'm starting to take pearl powder, because there's been studies and documents shown that pearl powder is it rejuvenates your eyesight. Okay, it can reverse cataracts and it can rejuvenate your eyesight. So the studies that have been done for eyesight, what I do is I actually take 3 times a day 15 milligrams of organic freshwater pearl powder that has been crushed up, and I actually take it with a little bit of is it MCT oil? It's like coconut oil, and the third portion that I take in the middle of the night, which I'm gonna do after this live. I didn't want to do it before because y'all would see white powder like all on my eyes right here, right? So you take 3 oral doses a day, and then you also can rub at night before you go to bed, put pearl powder, which is funny because pearl vision used to be a thing, but they teach you all wrong now. So you put pearl powder on your eyes before you go to bed, and I'm telling you, I'm actually seeing better, you know. And a lot of the stuff is also mental, because our consciousness has power over the natural realm and the natural vibrations and frequencies that you can emanate and control things that we aren't taught about, but you can manifest things like that. But I'm actually noticing a difference in putting pearl powder on my eyes and actually taking it orally. Okay, so first thing I do is I swash out the mouth, then I put the pearl powder on my eyes, then I go over to my minerals. All right, now our body is craving minerals because we're very, very like lacking in all of the stuff that we get out there. I had a girl in the grocery store come up and ask me, she was like, "Are these cotton candy grapes organic?" And it says organic in the bag, and I'm like, "Absolutely not, that's GMO." She was like, "But it says organic," and I'm like, "Does it have seeds?" And it's like, she's like, "No." I'm like, "Well, then nothing natural out in the realm, you know, in the natural world that doesn't have seeds is right." You know, it's like, how did it survive for hundreds of years and then suddenly just not have seeds anymore, so it can't have children anymore, right? It's inert, it's neutered, like it's sterile. That is not what fruit is supposed to be. Fruit is supposed to have seeds inside of itself, and if it does not, it means it has been either genetically altered or engineered, or it's something ain't right with it. Okay, so but getting back to the basics, a lot of the fruit and food that we have is highly stripped of all the nutrients, and even the organic. Like, I've looked on labels that it says it's organic, and then you go into some of the ingredients, and in the ingredients it says it cannot be made without it being synthetically modified or altered. It's like how are they getting these organic labels on these things? It's like the lesser of the two evils. But you know, to be honest, unless you're growing all your own food, man, it's tough. Like, that is an absolute tough thing. So anyway, back to what I was getting to, the point. So after I swash out all the toxins in my mouth, then I put the pearl powder in my eyes, and like I said, I'm able to start seeing finer hairs now on my face. I'm starting to get better vision from the pearl powder. So it's a great supplement. I suggest doing that. And then the other thing that I'm doing is I go over to take my minerals. So I have a mineral supplement that actually includes a lot of the Dr. Sebi's teachings of, you know, it's got the Irish sea moss, and it has the moringa, and it has the what else do I take? I actually started taking boron, and I started giving boron to my kids because it's a lot of documentation that shows that boron, which is contrived from different fruits, and these are a lot of the minerals that our bodies are not getting. Okay, this is the stuff that our body needs, like they're craving, because we're not getting it from eating all this highly processed, genetically modified, completely hold on, what is this? Sorry, it says didn't complete the heart me mission. What is that? How's it going? Yeah, nice to see you. Good to see you too, man. Thanks for there's like a lot. This whole platform keeps changing, so it's hard for me to try to follow it. I'm trying to go on here a little more. I'm trying to make videos as well, but this AI thing is just, it ain't playing fair, because I've got a great video in the works that I'm working on. But anyway, all right. So I wash out the toxins. I put the pearl powder on my eyes, or that's at night, you know. But in the morning, so this is my morning routine. Then I end up taking the pearl powder orally, and then I move over to my thank you for the heart, much appreciated. All your gifts will be used to help me on my path to help others, and I will talk about that later too, because I've been helping people for hours a day, and like it's crazy, but I'll circle back to that anyway. So I put the pearl on my mouth, and then I go over to my minerals. So I've got the moringa, I've got the Irish sea moss, and I've got boron, and I've got haritaki, and I take all those orally. Okay, now what that does is it complements a lot of the body's loss of minerals, including, like, that's why you use Celtic sea salt as well. And you put all those together in your body, and that's one of the reasons why we crave a lot of the things that we do. Since I've started trying to balance my candida out in my stomach by taking the wormwood and the clover and the what's the other one? There's 3 things that you need to try to kind of get the candida under control, and parasites and stuff like that. And I'm hearing that they're going to start banning nicotine, right? Because for some reason, all of these quote-unquote viruses go after the nicotine receptors in our body. What's up, TKOGIWY? I'm sure that means something that I don't know. How you doing? Thank you so much, guys, again, for the gifts. Much appreciated. This recap of this live will be on my Telegram group. The audio will. The video will be on YouTube. All of my social medias are linked, and exclusive content on such is linked on my website, which is linked on my profile page. Feel free to browse. I have thousands of hours of free information and content that I've collected over many, many years for y'all to browse through and to help edify and grow. All right. So anyway. So that's my morning routine, and then I get my coffee, and then I come on the computer, and I got a lot of stuff that I do on the computer and out in the field, because like I try to do it all. I've got kids I'm taking care of, 35, 36 houses that I'm managing, and I'm getting ready to start helping somebody build their construction company up and stuff like that. I got this weird offer that I'm probably gonna start doing too. I got somebody that has a bunch of scraps like that they want me to try to get rid of. So they told me that I could keep half of half of what, all I have to do is just post them online or whatever, and keep half of whatever I sell it for and stuff like that. So I got a lot of different things in the works, and so I've been kind of pushing going away from just making videos on here a lot, but I still help people. And speaking of that, that is part of what this time is set aside for. I come on here so that I can help y'all on a one-by-one. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask, because I do my best to try to guide everybody towards the 3 different light illuminations that I speak about, which is nature, spirit, and commerce. And so anyway, what I end up doing, Awake One, thank you so much. It's nice to see you again. Much appreciated for all the gifts, man. They would definitely be used to help others and help me, on my path to help others. Because I told somebody the other day, like, I'm one of the few people you meet that like, money is not my king. It's just not my god. I mean, but it is a tool that you need for everything, or can use for everything. And so anyway, speaking about helping everybody, that is my passion. That's what I love doing. I do it not for profit. I have a website that I pay for. I pay for a Dropbox for everybody. I was paying for a phone, and then the funny thing, I didn't have one person call me for like 8 months on my phone, because I don't want to give my personal phone out to millions of people, because millions of people see me on TikTok. So I'm like, I don't want to have everybody and their mama calling me up, like texting me, pranking me, all this stuff. So anyway, I went like 8 months or something with nobody calling me, and then like the month that I cut it off, I have somebody wanting to do a 2-hour consultation or something. It's like, oh my gosh, Awake One, thank you so much. So I have a friend that I've been helping him for a very long time, off and on. He's watched my videos, and he's going down the path full blast, going down the paid for people that trick and deceive you into giving you false knowledge, and it's sprinkled with truth, and it sounds so good, paying stuff with stamp, making bills of exchange, making promissory notes, accepted for value, return for value, trying to take control of the U.S. citizen, trying to, like, all these things that I have spent decades, like, going down different wrong paths, putting together foundations that can't be shaken. And the whole time, like, I'm trying to tell a guy, like, I'm not trying to take the winds out of your sail by any means. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you the stuff that I've learned and stuff that I realized, because it really, at the end of the day, when you go in like court and stuff like that, It doesn't matter what the truth is. It matters if it's acceptable, it's admissible, you can prove it, and you can stand on it, you're square. Then you can bring home a lot of stuff, even if it's not right. They do it all day long in the court system. They make judgments and bring home all kinds of different types of revenue from people that are innocent, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because during that court case, if you weren't able to prove your point properly, then you lose. It's a game. It's called court for a reason, and we are not learned in it. And I was trying to explain to the guy that we are not taught how the things work in the commercial court systems on purpose. It is a very tricky game. It says few, if any, well-educated laymen are schooled in the science of law, and if presented with a bona fide, or if it's presented with evidence, they don't have the capability to defend themselves, even if they have a perfect defense. We just don't have the skill or ability in this stuff, and it takes time to understand those things. So, anyway, I digress. One of the hardest things for me to do is to watch somebody, like, especially when they reach out to me and I'm like, they're offering to pay me, and I'm like all of my assistance is free. To the best of my knowledge, you can always donate to me if you want to. It's always warmly welcome if you're led to. But I will do my best to help you and guide you the best I can without any compensation, because this is what I do. Thank you so much for the heart. Much appreciated on Kansas soil. It's been a while. How you been? That is no place like home, baby. No place like home. I'm glad y'all are here. Again, to recap, this live will be on, the video will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. Exclusive content on all my social medias, which are linked on my website, which is on my profile page of TikTok. I have playlists. I have all kinds of content libraries and stuff created for everybody to help them indulge on their paths. So, back to the first topic. So I've been talking about a lot of my health, different health topics that I've been going through, and I'm finding that some of the things work, right? So for instance, the candida trying to suppression, right? So this is, I'm gonna tell you what, y'all want to ride? Try to take some oregano oil. Oregano oil hits harder than liquor, like harder than straight daggone bourbon, freaking gasoline. Like it is just it's tough. So you take oregano oil, MCT oil, you take NADA, what is that stuff called? NADA something, like some of that, and you take that in between meals. And I actually noticed, like, so here's how you can tell if you have an overactive candida in your microgut biome. And this is what started me on the beginning of this, talking on this thing about how I rinse my mouth out and spit out the stuff that your body creates in the middle of the night. So when you wake up, your mouth is all nasty. So if you spit in a cup, first thing in the morning, get a glass of water, spit in a cup. If it's white and it floats, and then starts to make stringy stuff, you have overactive candida in your microgut biome. So I started taking some of the supplements that is good for knocking that down, and I did notice that after I started doing that I did have less white spit, because apparently your spit's supposed to be clear, right? So in the morning, if you wake up and your spit's all white and it's stringy and it's like, that's your body is trying to get rid of nasty stuff. So you gargle and spit all that out. But anyway, if you want to see if you have an overactive candida in your microgut biome or your microbiome, you just spit in the water if it's stringy, and mine was. And I noticed after I started taking the supplements and stuff that I stopped. If you have overactive candida, it'll make you crave sugar. And since I started knocking that stuff down some, I started noticing that I do not want fruit juice as much. I don't want fruit as much. And all that stuff is sweet. I still eat it, like, because I'm vegan. That's like all I eat is fruits, veggies, and daggone, legumes and oats and wheats and all that stuff. So, anyway, prebiotics. So that is one of the things that I take. You can look at your tongue as well. My tongue is probably white. It's always been white. So I can't wait to hear this on my live when I listen to it driving down the road. It's like, So my tongue has always had like a whitish kind of tint to it or whatever. But I think another way you can tell is like bags under your eyes and stuff like that. What about State National Simply M3? It's a person, which is a corporation. That's how you interface with the public. You know what I'm saying? Invite AJ Dreams to co-host with me. guys, like, feel free to ask any and all questions. I wanted, beginning of this, I talked about my morning routine on health stuff. Some of the other things that I've done. Check this out. I made this. Oh, can I even bring this over far enough? Booyah! So I got this, and if you try to buy it from somebody online, it is super expensive. Like, this is like, $250 if you, or something like that. Crazy if you try to buy it from somebody. I got it for like $50 or something on Amazon, and it was for a motor, but I took the motor out. I don't think I can pull it over anymore. There was you can see where there was like a diode or something here that would have different phases on the copper wire. But this is, you plug it straight into an audio jack, and you can start to play healing frequencies. And you can actually put this like square on your chest. So that's one of the things that I explored with. And another thing that I started exploring with is I was doing lymphatic drainage. I was doing the shaker plate and doing like lymphatic massages and drinking what is that daggone tea? It's like lymph node tea or something like that. I didn't really notice a big change in that and whatnot. But I'm constantly trying to vet out different. I don't know how to explain it, like health things, because that's what we got. We got one natural body in this thing. I mean, even though it's temporary, but thick white coating is candida overgrowth. I studied this from Dr. Morse. You're talking about like on your tongue? Because it's not like thick white. It's just I don't know. My taste buds are just that's their color. But I haven't looked at a healthy tongue. But I have been trying to combat some. One of the problems that I have is that I do drink coffee. That's like the last thing on my plate to try to get rid of is drinking coffee in the morning. And the problem with it is because I do put a lot of sugar. I put freaking honey in it. I put daggone agave, and I put like vegan creamer in it and stuff like that. So it's like my first cup is like full blown, like I'm a hummingbird, and then I start to try to. Yep, there's mold in the coffee beans too. It's like no matter what you take, no matter what you do, it's like it's terrible for you. Like everything. Oh, get this. So I bought another health thing. I bought a glass tea steeper. Okay, because I watched a video that said every single tea bag that you buy, no matter what kind it is, even if it's healthy biodegradable one, has billions of microplastics in them when you heat it up. Like they've done studies and they bury it because they don't want to pull off all of the daggone tea bags that are on every shelf out there. So what I do is I end up cutting the tea bags open and emptying out the contents, and then I pour hot water through that, and I have a water filter, so I filter the water. And speaking of water, if you're working straight off of the city's, the what is that stuff, the fluoride chlorinated chemical water that's being pumped into all of our houses. I recently learned that even though it has a safe drinkable level of chlorine, it is that is when the water is cold. Okay, once you start heating it, and this is crazy. This is what this video was saying. Once you start heating that water, all data is off the table on what is safe for chlorine. It apparently changes it into when it's coming through the shower head and heated up, it changes it into billions of particles that are getting all over your skin and getting absorbed, and also starts releasing toxic gases. And it basically says it's turning your shower into a gas chamber, and also like harming your skin. So they were saying that a lot of people that are over 75, like 80% of them have skin conditions and problems because of the water that is in their bathroom, and they're putting themselves in a gas chamber. And like, I've also learned that when you heat up the 99% of the shower curtains that are plastic have forever chemicals in them as well. Once they're heated up, or you touch them or whatever, they are like one of the worst things you could ever heat up. Like, it's just on and on and on and on. Everything you cook on, everything you eat, it's the death by 1,000 cuts. Everything we do, the people that are trying to get rid of us because that's what their law is and what they swear by, the chosen people or whatever, you know, they're poisoning the air, they're poisoning the water, the all the crops are garbage, and just continuing to pump forever chemicals in us into our medical facilities that never cure anything. So let's start reading some of these questions. Sorry about that. Or statements. PAFs, yep, I heard about them. Just fruits and veggies, my friend. LOL. Everything all natural, non-toxic. Just live on the land. Yes, if you can grow your own, like that's the key. And it's but then, even then, like, are you putting unfluorinated water in it? Is it outside where it's getting sprayed with nanoparticles from up in the sky and all that stuff? And it's just like, you know, you gotta live, and it's just like, it's so frustrating. It's so it harms, like, I was told by one of my mentors, if you could see all of the different radio frequencies that our cells are bombarded with daily, like, our heads would explode just from the amount of Wi-Fi, from 4G, 5G, 6G, and on up, from all the cell phone towers, from all of the Wi-Fi, from all the radio frequencies. I don't know if y'all remember this, but not too long ago, I know I'm getting older, not too long ago. Thank you for the gifts again, my friend. Much appreciated. All y'all's gifts. Thank you, Jamero. Jamariel? Or is that, no, that's Jamaria, but it's got like a line. Much appreciated. I lost my train of thought. Daggone, man. Trying to read, I was just thanking y'all. I appreciate everything again. Wait, yeehaw! Much appreciated. Like, all your gifts, really, really, I'm very warmly welcome. They help me help others, because, you know, even though it's not for profit, it does cost a little bit to run my website. It does cost a little bit to run my Dropbox for everybody for free. And I've never charged anything. Like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for these. Traveling with Jamaria, Mariah. Thank you so much. Anyway, I'll recap this live. Will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. All of my social medias have exclusive content, which is linked on my website, which is linked on my profile page of TikTok. I have playlists that can help re-educate you. I always suggest everybody going through those, which is Foundation, Nature, Spirit, and Commerce. It's taken me decades to learn all of this stuff. I have been given divine revelations to reveal certain things at certain times and certain periods to certain people. That's how I operate. I'm not led to give everybody everything at once. I'm also authorized to put out information that y'all can put together if y'all are smart enough and capable to be able to unlock things, you know, because you can't give kids machine guns, you know. It's just, it is what it is. But if through the way the systems that are in place have been kind of crafted, is, you know, through knowledge and ability and studying, learning, and love, you're able to kind of put all the pieces together, and you're able to operate out there, having the knowledge to move forward out in the earth with your commerce for good, right? Because that's kind of what it's all about, you know, loving each other and coming together and lifting each other up, because it ain't easy out there. Look on people's faces when you walk outside, like, everybody's just, they've got their own battles and stuff like that. And violation, I got flagged, restricted for some audiences. I just got flagged for misinformation. I love it. I love, my handler must have been sleeping, because I got by with a lot of stuff up until then. Like, I don't know what it was, but my handler. So I tried different hours. Whoever's like been hired to monitor all of my content to keep me from putting out too much truth. So what I would try to catch him when he was sleeping. So I would try to, like, release videos like at 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning or whatever, to see, like, when I could get something by them or him or her or whatever, to be able to get, you know, some views before they would block my video. Like, that's how bad it was on here, you know. And it got to the point where it's just like, I don't even want to live like that. That's crazy. But again, thank y'all guys so much for the content and the support and the gifts and stuff like that. I wish I could just you know, put more videos out to help everybody, but it's just, I'm very shadow banned, and it's hard to operate like that. So, all right, let me see if I missed some questions. Vibration plate for lymphatic massage. Yes, that's what I got. And it's so funny watching my kids get on that vibration plate, because they'd be like, ugh. My son lost his first tooth today. He had that sucker in his mouth. It was loose for like 2 months. I wanted to snatch that little sucker out of his face so many times. He would not brush it. He would brush every tooth but that. That thing was just kind of swanging. It was swanging like a trap door. And he would brush everyone but that. That thing was turning yellow, and I'm like, give me that little sucker. I wanted to pluck it while he was sleeping. And finally today, he bit into a sandwich, I guess, and that thing came out. So like I was like, ooh, and he looks so cute with his one tooth missing. It's so cute. Like, yep. All right. So going back through mold in the coffee beans. Yep. He has fruits. Forever chemicals that suck. Even the water is terrible. It can strip you of minerals. That's why you have to add minerals. Absolutely. That is kind of how water is designed, which is very unique. And there are at least four phases of water that um, uh, the best one is the one that's in fruit, and it has memory, and you can always, and I always suggest this, whenever you have anything like a tea or coffee or drink or whatever, you can always hold it, and nobody has to know, and that's why it does. My favorite law book says not to pray on the corner out in the open where everybody can see you. So you do it internally, and you can wish and implement and imprint your energy and be a segue onto your water, and wish good thoughts on it, and it will be reflective of that, and it will be healing and stuff, even if it's got some toxins in it and stuff. You just wish well on it and stuff like that. Dr. Yuramoto, I think, is the one that proved if you put different words on it, like love and peace and stuff, it forms beautiful crystals in the freezer. And if you put like hate and abominations and blasphemy and stuff like that, it looks like explosions, fire, all that stuff. Memory or water is the dipole antenna through which consciousness manifests. Okay. And it is a very, very beautiful, like, life has to have it. It's just one of those things. Like, anything without water is dead, Anyway. All right, yep, true. Website to check by zip code. What does that mean? Well, I must have missed that. The website to check, like, what's good. Somebody is pumping out some hearts, Somebody's got one of those machines that are like, somebody breaking that wrist, getting that heat, making that screen move. Let's see here. Nicole, wow, that's crazy. I'm going to look into a shower filter. Yes. Oh, Nicholas. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you Nicole. Yes, the shower filter will help. It will. It can remove stuff. I have a whole house filter at one of my other properties that my baby mama's in, and the kids, my ex. I should just call her ex, but it removes all the fluoride and everything inside of it. It's got some copper pipes, but I used PEX on a lot of stuff because it was so much easier to run. And that's just how they get you on the easy stuff. Jamera, how do you get out of marriage without the state being involved? Well, if you're in a marriage with the state, then y'all should come together and dissolve it. Like, that's the best way to do it. If the purpose of marrying the state is because it does offer protection, and they are in charge of, the states have been charged with the duty to monitor all assets and control. So marriage is it's a trust that has been formed for two businesses to merge and do business together with the state. So all three of y'all are in bed together, and the state offers some protections for the woman to join in that way. The best thing to do is, if y'all married with the state involved, is to marry without the state involved. By what I mean by that is to dissolve it through the state's codes, laws, statutes, and ordinances, because that's who you requested and submitted to in order to say that you got married. My current marriage with my girl, we're just partners. Like, we have no documentation proving such, but I could, if I wanted to, I could prove that we are married. But she's just my girl. We could also just split up at any time we want. I hold the controlling title. So did I with my last ex. Like, I held the controlling title of our marriage. Because that's really all that matters. And you can enforce it if you know how to do it properly. And I have videos on all those things. Filtered water on garden hose. Yeah, that's a good idea. Like I said, at my other house, the whole house water is filtered. So everything's filtered, even that comes into the house. Like, the whole house filter has removed and then it goes to another filter under the sink, and then it gets remineralized. It goes through like a 7-stage thing, and it's just beautiful. Dang, I had missed some words. Let me get back here. Filtered water, title gifter of rose. That you have awakened one. You have earned the title gifter of rose, whatever that is. Send a donut. Thank you so much. Hats, all the dude. You are really hooking me up, man. I am very, very appreciative. Thank you so much. Glad you came on. I miss talking on Telegram and stuff a lot. All right, egw.org by zip code to find out what's in your water. Oh, really? That's good to know. So let me tell you something about that, okay? And I learned this from an engineer. When they test your water and put out water reports, guess where they are testing the water at? They are testing the water at the water treatment plant facility. Immediately after it goes through all the flocculation, all of the filtration, all of this, you're drinking poo water. You're drinking recycled poop water, like from the city. But let me get back on the topic. When you get a report from the city on the water, they are taking that water report right from the city plant itself. Then guess what it does? Then it travels through 17 miles of rusty pipes, garbage lines, different things before it gets to your faucet. Okay? They are not taking a reading from what's coming out of your faucet. They're taking the reading and giving you the report of what happens at the plant. Okay? So if you want to know what's really coming out your faucet, you need to take a sample of that and get that read, because that will give you the truth of what you're actually drinking. I think you gave me the Jamir Ria. Okay, so Yah, and I don't know if you know this, but Ria, so Yah means God, obviously, and all these different words like virgin Yah, California Yah, and stuff like that. It have different meanings of God that are incorporated in it. All right, so send a TikTok. Thank you. Write positive words on the cup or bottle. Yep, absolutely. And you can also send the intentions on Kansas Soil. Much appreciated. Guys, a recap of this live will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. Feel free to reach out to me to ask me any and all questions all day long. I give free consultations to everybody. There's a lot of free content on my website. All my social medias are linked on the website as well, which is linked on my profile. My website is Anointed New Foundation of Peace.life. I have free content for everybody to browse through of the stuff I've learned for decades. I'm trying to make a great mass library. It's not the best thing in the world. It's not the most user-friendly thing in the world, but I did it all myself, so I'm kind of proud of it because it's part of my walk, and also leading everybody to the 3 different illuminations of nature, spirit, and commerce as well. All right, Lena Bat Mayor, but what about covering each other if you split? That's the tricky part. No, so what you do in that situation is, so private contracts are enforceable, right? And I have a lot of this information on my website and on my my video playlist on my profile. So you can come up with any terms and condition as long as it's reasonable, okay? You can't say, if you sleep with another girl, then you have to shove 200 rabbits up your rear end and buy me 8 metric tons of watermelon. Like, it's just like, you have to be reasonable with your terms and conditions. You can't say you owe me $28.6 gajillion if you gain 150 pounds or something like that. Like, it has to be reasonable, right? But y'all can come up with any terms and conditions you want. You can memorialize it with a notary. You can mail it to each other with third parties tracking number and all that stuff. You can record it in a county. You can make an affidavit on it. You can do anything you want. Y'all can exchange, monetary value on it to make it into a trust. Y'all can make any kinds of private contracts you want. Y'all are the authors and creators of your own contracts. And that's one of the things that we are never taught. We are taught in the indoctrination Rockefeller camps to sign your name at the top of each document without reading anything. Just immediately sign it and you're good. And that's not how contract law works. You're supposed to read the contract before you sign it, and your ink is more powerful than the text that's on the page, and you can change the terms and conditions. But again, when you're coming together with your partner or spouse or friend or whatever you want, y'all can set the terms and conditions however you'd like. You can set the marriage scheme however you want. You can change your names if you want. You go to the county recorders or the county and change it however y'all do it in each state is different, and move forward like that and say, from here on out, I'm Mrs. Such and Such, or I'm Mr. Such and Such. It's like, who's going to question you? I mean, it's no different than marrying with the state. The only difference with that is that the state does offer protections, but there's always pros and cons to everything, right? You're giving up jurisdiction to the state to let them control your marriage, and they have the final say if you register it to them. If you hold the controlling title, then you are the author and creator of your own content, and you get to make the terms and dictate the contract how you want. So, just think about it like that. Kansas Soil Garden is full block across the street of that. That's incredible. I like that. Lena B, me and my partner created a contract, but the health insurance won't cover common law marriage. Yeah, you should never come at it with a common law marriage. Y'all should use an affidavit of matrimony and not call it common law marriage, because what you're doing is you're invoking stuff that they recognize by their codes and statutes that is not allowed. Okay, you have to keep stuff colorable while operating properly with your own contracts. Okay, so you do look on my website. I have an affidavit of matrimony, and you have to have like a witness and stuff like that. And you have to come together as a spiritual union, have a witness, stuff like that. Make a certificate, and then make sure you have an affidavit of matrimony. I did it for my old employer, which worked for the federal government. Okay, it worked. I got health insurance for my ex, and I held the true controlling title to my marriage. It was never registered to the state. But and so when we split, it was up to us. We decided. We didn't have to go to the freaking state and say, Daddy, can we break up? It's like, no, we decided to. And I'm a very honorable guy. We're still fulfilling our contracts and obligations, and we have kids together and all that stuff. It's very peaceful, But that's just it's just how it is. And that's one of the problems is people lie, they cheat, they steal, they're corrupt, they're selfish. And that's why having the state or a neutral third party is sometimes very beneficial, because the state has a lot of resources and they're able to implement things, but you can use the court to enforce your contract. You can record your contract in the county recorder. You can enforce it by opening up a small claims court if something happens, small claims court case, and you can enforce your will in the court case and have whatever served, because it's all evidence, it's all about what you can prove and stuff like that. All right, on Kansas Soul, that's exactly how we were taught. Absolutely. Lena, they won't even accept that. The health insurance will only accept a marriage certificate by state. So it depends on which state you're in. You can email me. I don't know if you've watched my videos or gotten some of the content from. One of the problems is this, though. And that's the same thing I tell everybody about everything. Like if you're trying to do a passport as a national, or you're trying to do something like that, try to get a marriage certificate that you've made that looks colorable to get insurance, or you're trying to record something in the county recorder and you don't do it right the first time, beep, 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 suddenly you're on everybody's radar. They will be looking, they will be talking about it, they'll be like, can you believe they tried to get this through, or can you believe, what I'm saying? You have to be well-dressed, professional, know what you're doing, and be able to enforce it, and get it through. Or, I can send you something that basically says, they're infringing on rights and stuff, but when it comes to health insurance, that is one of the only little tiny benefits that they try to trick people into getting married with, through the state. It's just one of those little pieces of cheese they wave in front of your face. But there's different things. You're really, at the end of the day, you're trying to get a benefit and a privilege with a private contract, okay? And it's semi-commingling. Although all assets are held in the private, when you have an asset like a marriage where you're holding the controlling title, you then have to produce something that is colorable and acceptable in the public that can fly with it, okay? And that's just kind of how everything works. That's how wink wink, court cases work, how cops operate, how big businesses operate, shaking hands and doing stuff behind closed doors and stuff like that. There's a public side to everything, and there's a private side to everything. And private is where all the assets are. And I was just telling somebody about this the other day, one of the people I was helping. Assets are held in the private, and the reason for that is because the public is bankrupt. The public cannot hold assets. Everything that is a franchise of the United States, which is a bankrupt corporation, is also bankrupt. Even though on the private side of the U.S. citizens, which are a franchise of the United States, through the Social Security bonds, stuff like that, there are assets. It's just kind of how it works. There's a public and a private. Just like in your mind, those are assets. Your spirit has assets. Your natural flesh is the debt. It's the death. It is the public side that everybody focuses on, looks at, and it's just like the shadow of what's really true of the inner truth. All right. on Kansas soil. Gotta go. I'll check Telegram and YouTube to see what I've missed. Awesome, great, glad you came on here. Much appreciated. Thanks for stopping by. I will probably be wrapping up soon because it's almost an hour, and I actually enjoyed this one. My last one was a little different because like I was talking about AI for a couple of them, but I'm glad I got to come on here and start to talk about health. You know, it's just been a while. So this one will go under my nature, my natural type stuff. But Lena, they declined it. They said it's not a true marriage certificate by the state. They gave us problems. Yeah, so that's one of the problems that when you get married, it says by the power of the corporation of the state of such and such, I hereby pronounce that y'all are allowed to be registered to do business in the state of whatever. You know, that's kind of what that the whole pony show and shenanigans are, is that a registered license, and a license is permission to do something illegal, because it's not illegal to get married. You can lawfully get have a union with somebody, but in the corporate state, they have to, you have to have license to do everything, because we are classified as enemies, because we engage in enemy activities with Federal Reserve notes and doing stuff like that. So Delaware, my partner works for the state as well. Okay, well, you can look on my website under marriage. It's under ID, I think. It's under commerce ID or something like that, or it's just under marriage. Let me look real quick just so I don't lead you wrong. But I also have 2 or 3 videos on getting married without involving the state, so watch those several times. I also have documentation for you to review if you want to look at it. So under my Dropbox, we go under commerce, and I'm pretty sure it's under like ID marriage. So commerce ID marriage. That will give you some information as well. You can check that out. Potter Bing. Can I sue the prison for a that's my ex. Can I sue the prison for a cut on my leg from a razor wire ran along the ground on the rec yard? Absolutely. You can enforce any contract that you want and bring it home. And I have information on how to do that stuff on my website under Commerce Class if you start going through my MNC, but it's a lot of audio. And again, I lead people to the paths. I don't do the work for them. And that's one of the problems that I face with my walk, is that everybody wants the very easy button. Nobody wants to do the work effort. And it's not easy. You know, it takes time. It takes time to learn. And you know, when I'm dealing with somebody, talking with them, just like a judge, they can very quickly learn if somebody is understanding the knowledge and the stuff that they're talking about, or if they had some friend offline do something for them, or if they actually know. I mean, it's up to you. If you understand contract law, you know, if you know how to do certain things, then yeah, you have rights. You know, if you can prove, like, you know, this thing was in a dangerous position, or you know, they were at fault, especially, that's the easiest way. But yeah, it's up to you. It's just like suing somebody, right? I mean, you're asking me, can you sue somebody? It's like, yeah, you can sue somebody, you can sue anybody, you know, but will it work? It's all up on what you know and who is willing to take it on. And I'll give you a perfect example. When I was unjustly fired for not taking the magic dirt nap sauce, okay? And I didn't want to sue the company because I have vested interest in it, because I love the family and stuff that runs it. I didn't sue them because they have in my best interest. I want them to continue, you know, doing well. Well, as they continued on and stuff like that, and I know what they had done was not right, okay? And I could have taken them to the bank if I wanted to, because that is something that I have the ability and knowledge to do. But I chose not to, because was in kind of my best interest to have a more favorable light and transition with them. And I'm still doing stuff with them to this day. And that's part of why I didn't end up doing what I did. But yes, you have to understand all of the ins and outs of things. It depends on what you're going to do. And what I was getting at, the whole reason I told you that, is because when I started to try to do certain things, I had a lawyer starting to try to help me. And they were kind of like, even though I'm right, even though, you could win, it's an uphill battle, and nobody's going to want to go against this gigantic corporation. So that is what you will kind of face if you're trying to take on, unless they were purely negligent and did something wrong. Even you could have a lot of witnesses or whatnot. You're going to be faced with, if you're trying to use a lawyer as a mouthpiece or doing all the paperwork, they're kind of going to be kind of hesitant to try to go up against a large corporation like a jail, point blank, hard stop. Like that's one of the things you're going to face. And so if you're not going to be able to use a lawyer, then you're going to have to be very well learned in the law. And I can tell you from my studies and what I know that lawyers are indoctrinated. They are indoctrinated in a certain way for a certain reason. And the stuff that I know and teach is above and beyond all that. But it takes a lot of time. It is like a very slow dance. Like you can't just... It's like, how long did it take you to walk after you were born, right? So like that's how every field of study is. For instance, when you start getting involved in a court legal system, it's a whole different school and science of different rules. It's a whole different, like, words mean different things, sentences, actions, all these things mean different things all of a sudden. Rev, how you doing? Nice to see you on here. Glad you came on. I'm actually getting ready to wrap up. I've been on here for about an hour, and this was a really great live. I'll talk about a whole lot of natural healing stuff, a lot of the stuff that I've been through, that I've been learning and vetting, different kind of health techniques through the years and stuff like that. What I put together in my morning routine and whatnot. And I love trying to help you guys. I'm glad that I was able to come on here and give you some much needed nutrients to your natural body and your spiritual body. Thank you so much for the roses and your gifts. All your gifts are warmly welcome to help me help others. I'm very grateful for all you guys. I got 30,000 likes. That is freaking phenomenal. I know somebody was putting their wrists in some motion or using one of those machines, because them freaking hearts was flying earlier. I just saw them just coming up. But yeah, again, guys, I'm so grateful for all you guys coming on here. Pottery Binge, you're very welcome. Feel free to reach out to me and DM me if you need help. But I can't hold somebody's hand for every step. I can show you some of my resources. You can go on my website. A lot of the stuff's there, and that's how I learned. It does take time. You got to be able to put puzzle pieces together. It's just kind of what it is. Jay Chris, haven't seen me in so long. I mean, I've been on here. I've been Jimmy B. That was you. That was you doing the using that wrist, hitting them things, man. You're gonna have arthritis with the wrist. Them hearts was flying, But yeah, I love all you guys. I'm glad that I'm able to come on here and talk to y'all a little bit one on one, and y'all can. I'm still alive. I'm still pumping. Still. I wish I could put content out. I've got stuff in the works, and I just don't know because I've got so much going on. I just don't know when I'll be able to post another video. I started, every time I get a chance to start crafting something, it's not going the way I like with this this AI stuff. Like, I'm trying to, if I get the look right, there's no audio, the mouths are moving. It's like, I'm watching all this stuff that other people makes, and it's like, what freaking program are y'all using? Because your stuff is like phenomenal and all this stuff, and I'm paying. I've tried paying for stuff, and it's still not. It just kind of sucks, man. But yeah, I'm still out here. I'm still helping people. I'm giving hour and a half consultations to people all the time, answering DMs, emails, constantly. So I'm still doing my passion. I'm still helping everybody. It's just not reaching them as good. I got flagged earlier for talking about like health or something crazy. Like, I can't wait to go back and listen to this audio. Because it's I'll post it in my Telegram group, and then actually what I do now, since I had to remove Telegram from my phone because it took up so much space, but I watch the YouTube version on my phone through my audio in my car while I'm driving, and I can't wait to see. Like, I'm wondering what I said that flagged. It restricted the audience, and I got flagged for misinformation. I can't wait. And what's so funny is I want to flag freaking the fruit when it says non-GMO or organic. I want to put a flag on the field for misinformation on that. Sue them. But anyway, Guys, feel free to ask any questions. If not, I'm going to start wrapping up. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you for all the gifts. Thank you for all the support on this walking journey. I'm glad that we're able to share a lot of time together and a lot of my information that I've been authorized to release to y'all. Like, I'm very grateful for that and y'all receiving some of it. The Telegram, it's it's Nature Spirit Commerce. I think it's on my website. So click on my website, scroll down a little bit. You'll see all my social medias. All my I think except for Telegram, all my social medias have the same handle, which is Chow Rules. And I post stuff up in there. Like I said, this audio will be on there, and that's what I used to listen to on my car until I removed it from my phone. Now I listen to the audio from the video that I post on YouTube. So if you want to catch a recap of all this, guys, feel free to. Like I said, it's got a lot of gold nuggets on it for health. Some of the stuff that I've gone through to help educate you guys to be a little more healthy out there. And it's not easy because everything, death by 1,000 cuts between all the toxins that we're taking in with our eyes. I learned something funny the other day. It said they said this social media, like Instagram, TikTok, all these stuff that we're watching is like letting somebody in your house that you would never let through the front door. I'll say that again. When you're watching this stuff on social media and on YouTube and all this stuff, it's like letting somebody in your house that you would never let through your front door. You know, and like that's what we're soaking up all the toxins with our eyes, with our ears, with our mouth, through eating, through our lungs, for the breathing, like, and drinking. Like it's just nonstop toxins. Like everything we eat and do is just terrible. Jimmy, you're on my Nature Spirit and Commerce. Somebody found it. That was quick. Anyway, guys, love you. Feel free to reach out to me. I answer questions all the time, DMs, and thank you for joining me. If you want, again, watch this on my social media and stuff like that. And I'll catch y'all later. I don't know when I'll be back on. I kind of come on here randomly. I'm going to try to come on here once a week now when I can. My kids is crazy, but they're about to be out of freaking for the summer, so that's going to be a little restricting. But anyway, I'm getting off here. Let me get out of here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.